Hey guys, I've been doing some fall baking lately, and one of the cakes that I made was this cinnamon raisin cake with vanilla buttercream. I start with some candy almonds. Wait. Off camera, I soaked 60 grams of raisins in 30 grams of rum, and I'm just gonna let it sit until I'm ready to assemble the final cake. So, in a bowl, I have 1 egg white that I'm just gonna quickly froth. Although, in hindsight, half an egg white would have been sufficient. Then I add in 100 grams of almonds. I know that's too little for 1 egg white. Lesson learned. In this bowl, I have 50 grams of sugar, a quarter teaspoon of cinnamon, and a quarter teaspoon of salt, all mixed together. Put the almonds into the sugar mixture. After mixing the two really well, I dump the almonds onto a baking tray and put it in a 300 Fahrenheit, about 150 Celsius oven for 20 minutes. Now this is a dry for the cake. It's 135 grams of flour, 25 grams of cornstarch, a pinch of salt, 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, 1.5 teaspoon of baking powder, all whisked together for 20 seconds or so. This is 120 grams of soft butter, to which I'm adding 145 grams of sugar, and cream the two together for quite a bit until it's light and fluffy. Then I thoroughly mix in 2 eggs, one at a time. Here I'm putting in about a third of dry, mix it into the cream butter mixture. Then I add in about half of the 170 grams of evaporated milk and mix that in. And I'm just gonna repeat with the dried and wet until both of them are all added in. Pour the batter onto a baking tray lined with parchment paper and spread it out as even as possible. Then I put it in a 350 Fahrenheit, 175 Celsius oven for about 18 minutes until the cake springs back when I touch it. Flip the cake out onto a cooling rack and peel off the parchment paper and let it cool down completely. While the cake's cooling down, I'm gonna start working on the vanilla Italian buttercream. It's Italian, so first thing first is the syrup, of course. That's 20 grams of sugar and 50 grams of water in a pot over high heat. When the syrup reaches about 114 Celsius, I turn on a hand mixer to start whipping the egg whites. By the time the egg whites come to a soft peak, the syrup should reach 117 Celsius. Pour the hot syrup directly into the bowl with the mixer going. Don't ever stop at this point because the hot syrup will coat the egg whites. At this point, it's pretty much just keep whipping and whipping. It wasn't a good place to film the rest, so I moved somewhere else. As soon as the meringue cools down, I slowly put in the soft butter, a little bit at a time, 310 grams in total. Mine's actually a little bit too warm and super runny, so I chilled it in the fridge for a little bit before finishing off. Now this is better. Last but not least, I add in 1.5 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract and whip that in. I also need the syrup. I use the rum from the raisins, plus a little bit of water until I have 50 grams of liquid. Add that to 50 grams of sugar. Quickly heat that up in a microwave to dissolve all the sugar. Since I'm making a 3-layer cake, I cut the sheet cake into 3 pieces, about 11 centimeters each. The first thing is some syrup, of course. Soak it well to keep the cake moist and soft for longer. Next is a layer of the buttercream. Spread it out evenly. The vanilla actually smells so good. Sprinkle on half of the raisins. Then the first layer is done. Put on a second cake layer and gently push it down. Then I'm going to repeat the same process for these 2 layers, except the last one doesn't get any raisins. Then I put the cake into the fridge to chill, so the buttercream can firm up and be cut into pieces. Trim off the sides so it looks cleaner. I cut half the cake into 2 pieces and the other half into 4 because I want to have some lying down and some standing up. And clean the knife after each cut. Now it's time to do one of my favorite things, to decorate. And apparently I still need some more practice on that. So this is me on how to make this cinnamon raisin cake with vanilla buttercream, rum syrup, and candied almonds. The cake is moist and soft, and the vanilla cinnamon classic pairing is really nice, especially with the smooth buttercream. And the slightly salty almonds on top really enhance the whole cake by providing that extra crunch and then also the flavor twist. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please hit the like button and consider subscribing for more videos like this in the future. Thank you so much for sticking around. Have a good one.